the leader in talk radio on the Internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com. Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
All right, folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
Wrong way. Welcome to the place.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark. The leader in talk radio on the Internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for point of view. Alright, this is Jessie. I'm happy to be back with you. I've always got a lot of interesting topics. This is a fun one. I have a friend. His name's Josh Baldwin. I've invited him on to tell about how he came to realize that he was gay. He's openly gay. And the decision he made to be public about his sexual orientation and his journey along that path. I'm going to let Josh, as I do everybody, introduce himself. So Josh, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello, well, thank you very much for having me on the show today. So I'm really excited about it.
You're welcome.
I'm Josh Baldwin, and I mostly became a bit known on the internet from writing, but lately I've gone into blogging and YouTube, and I still write. But yeah, I am openly gay online, and that's changed things a lot for me, because I would say half of my audience, if not more, are now gay males, which has changed things quite a lot for me.
Really? What was your audience before you came out, and when did you come out? How did you make that decision? That's a huge decision.
It was a huge decision. I'm 19 and I only came out last year, which I understand a lot of people do come out later in life, but for me, I felt as though that was quite late, because obviously all of my friends had been in relationships, all of my friends had had boyfriends and girlfriends, and for me, I just never portrayed or conveyed an interest in anybody. But yeah, I came out last May to my family, and by July, I was out online to everybody. So I felt as though that was quite quick.
That is quick. You made the decision in May to start with, I'm guessing, close friends and family, and then in July, you essentially told the world.
Yeah, essentially. And I still to this day say it's the best decision I made. But I took a long time to realise I was gay. I always thought I was, but not specifically gay. I just always thought there was something a bit different. I'd never quite fit in at school. I enjoyed school from an academic point of view, but never really on a social side until I was older. In school, I always felt as though I really, really disliked PE. I really disliked sports, because I felt as though I wasn't the typical boy. I wasn't very good at sports. And I feel as though I didn't enjoy it, because I wouldn't fit in with all the other lads who'd enjoy all this rough and tumble and all this different slang and lingo, which I just wouldn't enjoy. So in school, I always kept myself to myself in that sense. And my friend group were males until I got older, and then when they started to get girlfriends, I found myself beginning to get on with their girlfriends better than I did them. And I remember wanting to spend more time with their girlfriends than I did with my male friends. And that's when I began to think, oh, maybe something's a little bit different here.
Okay. Now, you haven't mentioned where you're from. Is that something you're willing to share?
Yeah, so most of my childhood has been spent on the east coast of England in quite a small town. It's not very big. So that's where I predominantly grew up, yeah.
So you're in England or the UK?
Yeah.
Right. Just in case people had picked up the accent, I figured might as well at least say UK here.
Yeah, I'm in England, yeah.
So how did you essentially tell the world? Did you tweet about it? Did you blog about it? Did you do a video? And how did you come to the realization that this was something you had to share with the world or wanted to share with the world?
Well, when this is something I've never really spoken about, because I kept it very, very private at the time. But last May, I started talking to a boy on the internet. He wasn't just a random boy. He was actually going to the same university as me, because this is when I was in college, and I realised in school I questioned whether I might be gay, but in college I started to accept it, but I didn't want to... No, I started to realise it, but I didn't want to accept it, if that makes sense. So it got towards the end of college, and literally in the last month. So I left college on a Friday, and I remember on the Thursday I said to myself, right, I leave college tomorrow, and then I'm going to be in my summer break, and then I'm going to be starting university by myself, 6 hours away from home in somewhere I've never been before. So I said I'd love to have just one friend. If I know just one person, if I go to this university, at least I know somebody. So on the Thursday night, I messaged a boy. He was on Facebook in the Facebook group for our university. I go to the University of Brighton. And when I sent him a message saying, hey, hope you don't mind this, but I'm going to the same university as you, blah, blah, blah. And then we just got talking, and it flowed really, really well. The next day, on the Friday, was my last day of college, and he coincidentally was finishing college on the same day. So we was both messaging each other as we was getting ready to go on a night out of celebrating finishing college. And he said to me, because all of his friends were girls and all of my friends were girls, he sent me a message saying, all my friends are taking ages to get ready. And then just as a joke, he said, it's a gay guy problem. And I hadn't told him that I was gay, and I didn't know that he was gay. He hadn't confirmed it to me. So I had this moment where I could either tell him, no, that I'm definitely not gay, or I could just tell him. So I simply just said to him, yeah, I understand you. I know what you mean. And he was like, oh, so I take it that you're gay then? And I was like, yeah, I am. But you're the first person I've ever told.
How did that feel to finally tell somebody?
It felt really, really nice. It felt like, obviously, like I'd never even met him, but even the idea that just one person now knew made it a bit easier. And because he was, I could have came out to one of my best friends or, you know, someone else close to me, but to come out to somebody who you didn't have the pressure of really knowing, but also had been in exactly the same boat as you, made it a whole lot easier. And on the next night, I then told my best friend, and that was a Saturday. So on the Monday night, I sat down with my parents because I was messaging this boy, and he said, just tell your parents, they'll understand. Mine did, and it all went fine. And he really guided me through it. So I sat down it's quite a funny story actually. I sat down on a Monday night, and I lived with my mother and my stepfather at the time. So I sat down with them both, and he works away about a month at a time. So we just got back home, and obviously him and my mother like spending time together. But I sat myself literally in the middle of them all night long on Monday, and I said, tonight I'm going to tell them that I'm gay. It didn't happen. Bedtime came around, so I sat down on the Tuesday night to try again, and it didn't happen. So I tried again on the Wednesday, and this basically carried on all the way up until the Friday night. So a whole week I sat in the middle of them both. And I sat down, and they got up to go to bed, and I'd literally left it last minute again. And I was like, I can't leave it for another night. This is getting silly now. And normally I never I get on really well with them, but normally I don't sit with them every single night. So just as my mum was about to switch the lights out, I said, Mum, I need to talk to you about something. And she was like, oh, 1 minute then. So she went around the house, closing the curtains and things. And at that point, I knew there was no turning back, because I said, I want to talk to you about something. And I basically sat with them both, and my sentence at first was, I think I might be gay. And my stepdad was like, you think or you know? And I was like, yeah, I know, I'm gay. And my stepdad was elated about it. He stood up, he gave me a massive hug. He said he was really, really proud. And my mum was my mum was amazing about it. She was tearful, but mostly she just wanted me to be okay. And since then, she's become really educated about gay people. She openly tells her friends at her workplace that she has a gay son. And she's really, really supportive of it. And that's amazing. So I told my mum and my stepdad, and at this point, my mum and my stepdad knew, and also this boy I'd been speaking to online, and my best friend. So I then messaged my best friends. I have with 4 of them. We're on a little group chat, and I simply sent them a message telling them that I'd just come out to my parents, and their reaction was amazing. They sent me photos of them sat in tears, and they was all just really, really happy about it.
So you didn't have any problems with any of your close friends or your family?
No, my mum and stepdad was amazing about it. My stepdad said that he had often mentioned it to my mum a couple of times, like in the recent times before I did. And my best friend said that they had all known for years anyway, which is really interesting. But they all said that they'd known for years, and they used to kind of broach the subject with me, but I used to try to avoid it. But they was amazing. The next person I had to tell was my brother, which was a really nice moment actually. I think with my brother it brought us closer. My brother is younger than me. At the time I think he was 15 or 16. Yeah, he was just turned 16. And I sat down with him, and I wasn't going to tell him just yet. He was doing his exams, if I remember correctly. And not that I thought it was something that would distract him, but I remember him being very focused on revising every night. And I didn't want to take an evening away out of his time, essentially. And he was talking to me, and we got onto the subject of boyfriends and girlfriends, and I kind of just told him it happened really naturally without me knowing it was going to happen. And that for me was even better because it just felt so nice, just the pair of us, for it just to happen completely naturally. And he was really chilled about it. He just said, "Oh, I thought so. Anyway, I've got revision to do, and this is on the telly, so can I just chat to you later?" And that was really, really amazing.
So your family accepted you for who you were. How did you feel that various friends of yours had basically known or suspected this for years, but you weren't willing to admit it to yourself? Did anybody else ever try and bring it up in conversation? Or how did it go when people's basically said, "Yeah, I've kind of known that you were gay"? How did you feel about that? Someone knowing this secret you were trying to keep.
Well, quite interestingly, I kind of knew that everybody else knew. It was a strange situation because I went to the same college as I did school, and we're with these people from when we're about the age of 4, so we literally grew up with them. And at this point, I'm 18, so they've spent 14 years of their life with me, the majority of them. So when I got to college, and I feel because you're a lot more mature at college, a lot of people had already known. So when I told my friends, and obviously then there was a lot more open with me about the conversations that they used to have with other people, and people used to constantly ask them, "Has Josh come out yet?" Which I found really, really funny, to be honest. I wasn't upset that people used to presume. I wasn't bothered about it, because for me it was just, well, it's really obvious then that this is the person that I am. And to me it just proved that everyone was alright with it. And the only thing I thought was, if all these people knew and all these people was waiting, I just wish I'd come out sooner. I wish I'd done it sooner.
Okay. At what age were you totally sure? How old were you again? I think we've already covered this, but do you remember how old you were?
Well, I came out at 18, but I was probably only about 17 when I was sure. I probably thought it for a long time, but it was probably around 17 when I was sure. And I remember, and it sounds quite cliche, but I remember I was stood just in the bathroom, and I was just looked in the mirror, and I just said the words, "I'm gay." And the words sounded really foreign. I'd never said those words aloud to myself. And I know it sounds a bit cliche and overdramatic, but that is literally how it happened. And the more I just kept saying it, the more I accepted it, and the more I realised it actually feels really natural to say that.
That's cool. And I'm glad that you were able to accept yourself for who you are, and so were your friends and family. So then what made you decide to share this with, you said you'd been into writing and things like that. What made you decide to share this with the people who followed you online and people that knew you from your writing and essentially the world?
Yeah, I started out online. I think I started out online quite young. Started blogging around the age of 14 or 15, and instantly I started talking to people who were quite a lot older than me. I never really spoke to other 14 and 15-year-olds online, but I essentially made that decision because I came out to my parents, I came out to my friends, I came out to my brother, and the next people to tell were my grandparents. My grandparents are not particularly old, they're quite young for grandparents, they're only in their 50s. But I was quite nervous about telling them, but not because they never pressed any views onto me. They were always quite accepting in everything else. But I remember coming to university, and they were the ones who brought me to my university to have a look around. And I remember my nana saying to me, "This is where you'll find your Kate Middleton," referencing to the royal family. "This is where you'll find your Princess Kate." And I remember sat there thinking, no, this is where I'll find my Prince William, not my Princess Kate, but obviously I didn't say anything at the time. But it was on the night of my brother's prom, and I had just wanted to wait for an opportunity where it would just be me, my nana, and my granddad, but usually it's never just us three. And this night came up where my brother was going to his prom, and they asked to take me out for a meal. So I thought this is a perfect opportunity. And when they dropped me off back home, I stood them in the kitchen and I just said, look, I've got something to tell you, but I'm gay. And I was a bit disappointed, actually. I thought it was very anticlimactic. I'd spent weeks worrying that they would react badly. My granddad was just like, well, if that's who you are, that's who you are. And then I went, oh, that's nice. Would you like to come round for dinner on Sunday? And it was as casual as that. And then the next person I told was my great nana, who was just amazing. She's in her 80s, but she was just, as long as I'm all right, she's okay. She's an amazing lady. I have a lot of respect for her. And by that point, everyone who needed to know knew. So I had not had one blip, not one person had been upset about it. Everyone who I'd gone to college with knew about it. But it was really strange because online, I always feel as though I'm really quite open online. Like I say, I've been online vlogging since about the age of 14. So I'd shared when I was at school, I had shared going to college, I shared my exams, I shared my first job, I shared my holidays, every aspect of my life I put on the internet pretty much. And it felt really, and I remember because it was in the summer when gay marriage was made legal in America. And by this point I wasn't out. And to me, obviously, on a personal level, it was amazing that this was now a possibility, that it didn't matter anymore, that gay people in the US could get married. And I talked to a lot of people from the US, and it was just really strange because I remember like being out to everyone in my life, but keeping this bit from the internet and trying to convey how happy I was online, without telling anybody the real reason. Just felt really strange. And my friends had said for a long time, you do these videos, you do this blog, why not make a coming out video? And I'd said for a long time, even though I had watched a lot of coming out videos, I said, I'm not going to make one. I'm not going to add to them. There's loads of them, and I just don't feel I'm like good enough to make one of them really. So one afternoon, I just got my phone and I sat on my sofa, and I just thought, no, I just want to tell them. I just need to tell them. And it was a really casual video. I didn't do much editing. I didn't do a script. I just filmed it straight away. And it was about 13 minutes long. It's quite lengthy, but it just felt really natural. And as soon as I posted that video, my social media blew up like I've never seen it blow up before. And every single person was amazing about it. And all these authors whose books are read in the UK, authors who I read in the US, bloggers, so many people who I looked up to and spoke to, every single one was amazing about it. And to me then, it was all just done. And I don't think I've ever done anything as amazing as that since then, to be honest.
So did you feel like a weight was lifted off your shoulders? Like now you were finally being honest with yourself and the world?
A massive weight. I was writing a book at the time with a gay protagonist, because that, to me, I started writing that book in 2014, so a whole year before I came out, and that was like my way of exploring what it is to be gay. So kind of just exploring the idea with myself. But obviously I never spoke to anybody, because if you're pretending to be straight, like, it doesn't matter if you're straight and writing about gay characters, that's fine. But if you're somebody who's trying to keep the fact that you're not straight secret, you're not going to tell people you're writing a novel with a gay protagonist, because you want to deflect as much attention away from that as you can.
So wait a minute. If you're writing a novel about a gay protagonist and you're at the moment trying to keep it secret, could you even publish that novel?
No. I never told anybody I was writing the book. I never planned on getting it published. To me, it was just simply for me. And I kind of just sat there one day and I realised over time, I was like, if I'm going to keep this to myself, I can't express, I can't be truthful online where I connect with other people's writings or videos. I can't be honest about why I'm happy about gay marriage in the US. I can't be honest about the things that I'm writing. If I go on a date with a boy or I meet somebody, I'm going to have to keep my whole relationship secret. And I was just to the point where I was trying to keep so much secret and so much to myself, it just didn't make sense anymore. It was becoming too difficult to keep all that to myself. It was easier just to be honest.
I think it's great that you decided to share the fact that you're gay with everyone. Did your coming out video spark a number of people who hadn't been previously following you, contacting you, reaching out to you? Were any of them, I don't need details, but were any of them still in the closet and they looked to you for guidance or inspiration or whatever?
A lot more people than I thought. I thought when I made a coming out video, it was more just to tell the people who already followed me, this is a new bit about me, this is some new information. But the amount of people who emailed me after or DM'd me on Twitter saying that that video really made them think or really made a difference was actually quite astounding. I didn't think it would do that. And I think that's why not only is it a video that I'm very proud of on myself, but also I'm proud of what it's done for other people. I'm not like tooting my own horn there, but I'm just glad that I made that decision to make that video. And I think it's something like my second most watched video on my channel. And even to this day now, it's not even been a year yet, and I still get emails every month, and it's helped somebody, which I think is fantastic.
Well, that's great. So you were able to use your own situation to reach out to others without even really trying to do it. And that's in and of itself amazing. And I would like your permission to post a link to your video when I post the podcast.
Yeah, definitely. So I have no shame of that video. That's my favourite video. I could vlog any amazing day, and that simple video, just sitting down and talking about just something new about me, is still my favourite video.
All right, so you're a year on from essentially, give or take a little bit, you're about a year out from when you first said, I'm gay.
Yeah.
How has your life changed? What new experiences have you had? What has changed in your life? I have watched a few of your videos, and I see that you do occasionally do things on skincare products and bath soaps and things like that. And I kind of go, I'm not even into that stuff, and I'm female. I think he has more skincare products than I do.
I think it's changed a lot for me. I feel like content-wise, online, I feel I can do more now. Obviously, if you're straight, you can talk about skincare, but I do feel as though, for me, it's something that I shied away from before because I was just scared about what people would say. But now, I'll sit there and I'll talk about what's in my Hugo Boss bag, or this is something I've tried on my hair, this is something I've done with my skin, and I feel a lot more comfortable just doing that. Also online, the people who I surround myself with, I would say the majority of people I now speak to are gay, just because I've got in touch with other content creators, because I used to watch them when I was thinking about how I could approach doing this, because I needed not to learn from somebody, but just to see how it works. And so when they found out about me, then we started talking, and I've made so many more friends because there's so many other people who were in the same situation. And there's like a little community of us on Twitter, and we're gay teen males, and it's not like an exclusive group, but it's somewhere where we can all talk about how we're feeling, and we all cheer each other on. And it's just changed a lot of things. I feel I can be myself more in my content. I've made a lot of new friends. And it also has meant on a personal level that as soon as I came out as gay, then and everyone was all right with it, then I could start thinking about relationships, and I could start thinking about meeting somebody, because I'd gone years and years just watching everybody else do that kind of stuff, and I'd just been on the sidelines.
All right, so basically telling the world opened up a whole new world of things for you, and it allowed you to actually be who you really were without having to try and go, oh, I can't do this because they don't know, and I don't want them to know. Now, You mentioned gay marriage being legal in the U.S. What's the status of gay marriage in England?
They can get together. It's like civil partnership, so it's slightly different, but it is acceptable. It's not something that's as suppressed as it is in America, or was in America, I should say. And it's something that we're quite open about, I would say. It's very clear that two gay men can adopt a child, and it's something that you do see. I do feel as though in the UK, I feel we're quite good at it. I think there's still progress to be made, but I do feel we're quite good at it.
Now, I didn't really mention this to you in show prep or anything, but with all the Muslim extremists that have moved to Europe because of all the conflict going on in the Middle East, do you ever worry that maybe they won't find it's not accepted by them and maybe there'll start to be problems?
I don't really. It's not something I think about very often. Maybe that's just me being a little bit sheltered, because I must admit I do think lately I am a bit sheltered because I live very close to Brighton, which is the gay capital of the UK. So it's everybody's very open, very acceptable here. I haven't had one homophobic comment said to me since I moved down here, and I've been out and about holding hands with other guys and seen with males on nights out, etc. And also just the fact that so many of the people who I text on a day-to-day basis are also gay males. So I think because now I'm so engrossed in it, I need to sometimes remember to step back and realise not everybody is so lucky. And that is something I will hold my hands up to, if I'll be honest.
Awesome. Was the fact that Brighton is the gay capital of England, did that play a role in where you went to university?
It didn't. And this is a funny story because I wasn't out at the time when I decided to come here, but I essentially stumbled upon Brighton University almost accidentally. I'd already decided the universities I wanted to apply for. I then did my mock exams and realised that in a certain subject in psychology, I might not perform as well as I might do. So I just had a little bit of a panic, and I started thinking I just need to find another university to apply to that has slightly lower grades. And I found the University of Brighton, and I've seen a lot of Brighton because a lot of the YouTubers who I watch, obviously doing YouTube, it's something I'm involved in a lot now, that a lot of them live in Brighton. So I thought they just looked like a really cool place to live. So my nana and my granddad drove me down here to have a look round, and it wasn't until we arrived on an evening and we sat just before a meal, and I can't remember his exact words, but my granddad turned around and he was like, did you know? I was like, do I know what? And obviously I'm not out at this point. And he says, oh, this is the gay capital. And we had just a little laugh about it, but I do think it was strange how I think sometimes things are meant to be, and I think the fact that I accidentally stumbled upon a course that happened to have the grades that perfectly matched what I had, with a course that ended up being really enjoyable that I didn't know about in advance, and just ended up being in the gay capital and accepting place. I think that was meant to be. I'm a big believer in things like that.
So what are you studying?
I'm doing English and education.
So you want to essentially teach English?
Yeah.
On what level?
I want to go into college level, so possibly secondary school, but more college. I'd like to go into a sixth form, essentially. So that's aged about 16 to 18? Yeah, 16 to 18. And I do want to teach, but eventually I want to be in the management of it. So I want to be managing or running a college one day.
That's a very ambitious goal. So we've talked a lot about your sexuality and how it's impacted various other things of your life. What else do you have going on in your life? I mean, everybody's got something else going on.
Yeah, at the minute I am just very busy doing YouTube. It's something that I've really found myself enjoying lately a lot more. I used to blog a lot more, and now I found I really enjoy making videos just because I enjoy sitting and having a chat. I think I'm quite a chatty person anyway. So I feel like that's something I'm focusing on. So I do a new video every 3 days. At the same time, I am doing my university studies. That takes up a lot of my time. And I've just been focusing on being my age, I guess. I feel as though when I was 15, 16, I was so focused on like having a successful publishing career that I feel like I didn't enjoy being my age as much as I should have done. So now I'm 19 and I'm at university, so I just enjoy being a bit more social than I used to be.
Do you feel that coming out has allowed you to be more social?
Definitely. All my friends know about it. They're all alright with it. I can just really chat about what's on my mind. I can really engage myself in conversations more. And also, I'm not in a relationship right now, but I have been towards the end of last year, for a few months. And that's, again, another part of my life that I've never been able to be a part of before.
How was that, being your first serious, semi-serious or serious relationship or committed relationship, or however you want to phrase it? How was that for you?
It was, I'd say it was really fun, but it was also a learning curve, and it didn't end particularly well, but I'm not upset about that. I feel as though, because I had never been with anyone when I was younger, it was like the first time for, being with someone, first time like holding hands with someone who you truly feel a connection with. So, and other bits and bobs like that. So I felt as though, whilst it didn't end very well, we do still talk. And obviously I won't go too much into it, but I felt as though it was a big learning curve and it kind of needed to happen for me to really discover who I am and what I want.
Well, that's good that it happened. I'm sorry it didn't end well, but at least you still talk once in a while, so you haven't slammed the door on each other and said something like, I'll never talk to this person again.
No, we haven't done that. We both wanted different things, and we both at different times of our lives, and we both had just different things going on. I was in university in a new town with new friends in a place I'd never been before, and at the same time having this relationship which was all new, and for me it was just a little bit too many things all brand new happening at the same time. And he was a lot more settled, and I also didn't want to be that settled either. So I think in my way, I didn't really know what I wanted at the time, but we've both moved on a lot. We send each other the odd text now and again, but for the most part, I'm really, really happy where I am right now. I'm really happy being me lately.
So what do you see in your future? I mean, are you going to go back to writing? Are you ever going to publish that novel you were working on with the gay protagonist? What are your plans?
Well, I've got 2 years left of university. So at the minute, I'd love to carry on growing my YouTube channel. That's something I feel very passionate about. And as for writing is something that I will always do. I used to publish a lot. I used to, for those of you who don't know, I used to self-publish my own novels. I got a book deal when I was quite young, and the deal fell through, but I already had an audience online, so I decided that I would self-publish the novel. It did quite well, and I carried on, and I did that at a really fast pace. I released a lot of novels in a short amount of time, so I've taken a step back, and I will return to writing, but if I publish again, it will be through a traditional publisher. And the book that I am working on at the minute, it's in its final draft. I am working on it with a critique partner, and I'm hoping to get it out to agents in June, is actually the book with the gay protagonist, which makes me really, really happy.
So you did go back to that novel, or is this a new one with the gay protagonist?
It's the same one, which makes me really happy, because that I never thought would see the day of light ever. I thought I'd keep that to myself, but that's one that I'm now working on.
So your writing and your life seem to coincide.
Yeah.
And that's made you happy. How have your writing fans from your novels reacted to the fact that you're gay?
Really well. I have not had, apart from the other last week, I got my very first homophobic comment, which to say I'm on Twitter a lot, I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, I'm doing my blog, I'm quite out there, and I don't keep it a secret that I'm gay. I think that I've only just had my first homophobic comment online ever. I think that's pretty good going. And I just feel more sorry for the people who don't accept it, to be honest. I shared the homophobic comment on my Twitter just to like shake my head at it in a way, and a lot more people were more upset about it than I was, and I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing that I'm not very bothered. I think in a way it's sad how we come to just expect that at some point, but at the end of the day, I'm happier than they are, so I'm just going to let them get on with it.
Now, recently in the United States, you mentioned the openness of gay and the LGBT community. There's been a dust-up with new law in North Carolina saying that people who identify as female can't use the women's restroom if they are male. How do you feel about that? Do you feel they should be able to? Do you think it matters if they haven't gone all the way through a sex change operation, what restroom they use, etc.?
I don't think it matters. I think people should be free to use the bathroom that they want. It makes me really sad to think, in a way, for me, I feel like they're going a step backwards. I feel as though for America last year, to make gay marriage legal was a massive, massive step. It was something that we celebrated, and I feel as though in 2016, to then hear that they brought this law in North Carolina really takes us back a step. I feel like we've moved forward and then we've moved back again. And I feel as though we shouldn't be suppressing people in that way. And since then, it was March the 23rd, I believe, that this law was brought in. And since then, there have been, it has been found that transgender people have been making more calls to suicide helplines since then, which is really sad to think that, because it may just sound like one law, but that law directly impacts people's lives every single day. And I think for everybody else, we take it for granted when we go to the bathroom. We can just go about a day. If we need to go to the bathroom, we just go. But for these people, they have to plan the whole day around it. They're conscious about how much they drink in the morning, what they eat in the morning, if they have to stay at work late, if they want to go to a college class and stay later, then they feel as though they can't. And that really impacts people's lives because they're going to become more withdrawn, can't socialise as much. And I just think it's a massive step back. I'm really sad about it.
I do agree in some ways it's a step back, but the other side of the coin is they're worried about a guy who isn't necessarily identify as female going into a women's restroom with small female children with bad intentions and something coming of that. What do you think about that side of the coin?
Well, I understand that side of the coin. I can understand where people are coming from. So I think it's something that a lot of thought needs to be put into. Obviously, I think we should. It's a difficult one because obviously mothers and fathers, rightly, are going to be concerned about their children in bathrooms. But I just think something needs to be changed because it's a very broad brush to brush people with, to say that, something bad might happen, because whilst I do understand that essentially any man could burst into a bathroom and do something with awful intentions, whether it's a bathroom for males and females or just males or just females.
I see your point. Now, I'm going to relate an experience I don't know that I've ever shared with anyone outside my immediate family. I was at an Apple store and had to use the restroom. They had two restrooms. They were labeled Restroom 1 and Restroom 2. There was no gender identity. Now, both were single stall restrooms. As you go in, you lock the door, you're alone.
Yeah.
I did look in both. They were absolutely identical. Both of them had a toilet, a urinal, and a changing table.
Yeah.
Now, there are such restrooms in most public places. They're essentially family restrooms, handicap restrooms. Some people in North Carolina are saying, well, if you're trans and you're really a guy and you identify as a female, why don't you just use that restroom versus trying to go into one that specifically has a gender identity? What do you think about people that say that, go use this other restroom? It's still a restroom. You can still do what you need, but you're alone in that restroom.
I feel as though I think that makes them feel more secluded if they have to visibly go to another bathroom than everybody else has to go to. I think if they it sounds easier than it's done, but if they literally just changed every public bathroom to a single stall toilet, I think it would solve a lot of problems. But I understand a lot of people aren't going to want to do that because it will cost a lot of money to convert. But I find it interesting, especially in the UK, and I don't know how it is in the US, but I find it interesting that in my lifetime in the UK, I have never seen a bathroom for either for any gender to use. I've only ever seen bathrooms for males and bathrooms for females. I've never seen a bathroom like you said, bathroom 1 or bathroom 2. But I find it interesting that we can't do that, and yet at our public swimming pools, males and females and children all get can get changed in the same room.
Now that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Mm.
So at the swimming pool, you can all change in the same room, but you can't all use the same restroom.
Yeah, so if you go to a restaurant in the UK, you'll have males and females. If you go into a shopping centre, anywhere where there's public bathrooms, schools, universities, colleges, supermarkets, anywhere you have males and females. But over the last, 5, 6, 7 years, I can remember being quite young, but old enough to understand when they started converting. I remember my grandparents used to take me swimming, and I remember it was a brand new built swimming pool, and they took us there. And normally we would split up, so me and my brother would go with my granddad, my nan would go alone. And at this swimming pool, we all went together, and everybody gets changed in the same room. The toilets are for anybody to use, the cubicles are for anyone to use, and all men and women just get changed in one room. So I feel it's really bizarre to me to have these rooms where men, women, children all get changed in the same room, but yet there's separate bathrooms for genders everywhere else. I feel it's really strange to have that like that.
Some people will say that the reason that's okay is because at that point the parent is with the child versus if a father sends their 8-year-old daughter into a women's restroom and then sees a guy follow her in.
Yeah.
It might make him nervous, and I can see his point, but I can also see yours. I'm totally confused by the issue.
I can see both, and I can completely see both. I don't think we should just, that's it, let's completely change all bathrooms for both genders, because obviously for the issues that we have mentioned, but at the same time I think it's something that we need to have a serious think about, because these people, transgender people, are really struggling with it, and I think it's very unfair I feel it's unfair for them. And I was watching, there's a television show in the UK, and I was watching it the other day, and, oh no, it wasn't a television show, I was watching a TED Talk, actually, and it was talking about how children from the age of 4 who identify as transgender, even they had started worrying at the age of 4 about going to the bathroom. And I think that's so sad that at the age of 4, instead of just going to school and enjoying it like everybody else, every single day becomes a worry for them about when they go to the bathroom.
I have to admit, I never put myself in the shoes of a trans person worrying about the restroom.
Yeah, I feel like if that's something, if we wake up in the morning and we just drink what we want, if someone asks us to stay on at work for another hour, if we'd like to go to some club after school for an extra hour, we just do it. But for people who might want to really just get home to go into the bathroom, they're going to turn down those after school clubs. They're going to panic about a work meeting that just comes up. I feel like it's something that would really play on your mind from the minute you wake up every day.
Personally, I think all public places should have to have, like I said, the family restroom type setup where anybody can go in, and then a men's and women's rooms. And they're usually all in the same location, so it's not like, okay, if you're going to the family bathroom, you're going down the hall to the right. If you're going to the men's or women's room, you're going down the hall on the left. Usually all 3 doors are within a few feet or a few meters of each other, so it's not real obvious. And I know often I go in the family restroom just so I can have that extra moment of privacy, or that extra, I need to get away from everybody for a few minutes.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if we have family restrooms. We have male restrooms, female restrooms, and we have restrooms for disabled people, for wheelchairs, and then I guess they're for families because they'll also have like a changing place for babies if they want to change and things. So yeah.
I just think, it's one of those things, it's a double-edged sword. There could be a lot of good that comes out of anyone being able to use any restroom, but there could also be some negative. I think if you go into a stall and close and lock the door, that's one thing, but some of the companies here, Target most notably, are starting to install urinals in the women's restrooms. On the wall, open, so you can see anybody that's using them and see what's going on. Oh, and I know a lot of people are going, no, if you're going to do that, put it in a stall.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, I've been in a few men's restrooms to clean them for jobs or various other reasons, And it does seem like an awfully public thing, for lack of a term. They're usually just 5 or 6 urinals lined up along the wall.
I never ever use urinals.
And I think it would be, if you're going to put a urinal in a women's restroom for that person who identifies as female but is still biologically male, because for whatever reason they don't want to go through the surgery, they haven't, I think you need to put it in a stall, just so that that parent who doesn't want their 7 or 8-year-old daughter to see a guy standing peeing in the women's restroom, they don't have to see it.
Yeah, and not only that, I think it would benefit that person as well, because then they can have their privacy. Then they don't have children staring at them or parents edging around them. I think that would benefit everybody to have stores in that way. So I completely agree there.
Like I said, I can see pros and cons to both sides. All right, we have about 4 minutes left. Is there any topic you wanted to touch on we haven't gotten to?
Not that I can think of, unless there's anything else you'd like to know.
Are you happy the way things are working out for you? Do you see yourself starting up a new relationship? Do you go on casual dates? And for the record, when it comes to public displays of affection, I don't care what gender you are, whether you're with a guy, a girl, whatever. I think there's reasonable public displays of affection, holding hands, kiss on the cheek. Sure. Making out on a park bench to the point where clothing is being moved around, I think, in my opinion, that's taking it too far.
Well, I definitely agree with that one. Definitely agree with that one. But no, right now there's no relationship and there's no dating. I've only got about a month or so left at university, and I want to get my book out to agents in June. And because I know I've got deadlines coming up for university, I'm trying to get videos filmed as well. So at the minute, I'm really just focusing on my work, which is really nice, actually. I feel very happy with myself. I've really enjoyed my time at university. I'm really looking forward to my second year, and I'm enjoying my work at the minute.
I think it's awesome that you realized that when you were 15, you started your writing career. You pushed yourself so deep into it, you almost gave up the fun of age 15, for lack of a term, that you are taking the time to experience university. Now, I have stalked your social media feeds. I have seen you do go out with groups to do different activities and things like that.
Yeah. Oh, I do. We do quite a lot. We have race nights on Tuesdays and student nights on Thursdays, and last weekend I was at a birthday party, and I feel as though I'm in a nice place, because I feel as though, because I admit I did push myself a lot when I was younger, and I think because I showed people I was very serious about it, I'm very lucky in the fact that I feel as though it's not something I'd ever take for granted, but I feel as though people know that I do continue to write and I do continue to work, and people are patient in waiting for me, and that's really nice. I feel as though I've earned people's trust, which is a nice place to be.
Well, that's good. That's really good. So, what's your working title? I know the title could change for this manuscript you're hoping to query in June.
It's one of those books where normally a title comes to me straight away with an idea, or sometimes I'll get a title and I'm really drawn to titles. I don't know why, but I'm really, really drawn to titles, and sometimes I'll have a title and I'll have to try to find a story for the title, which is an interesting concept. But on this one, I do not have a title at all, and I think that is because I literally wrote this book just for me. I never intended for it to go out to agents, critique partners, never planned for it to be a marketable thing. So I think that's why it doesn't have a title. So at the minute it goes on the code name The Fashionable Book, because it includes a lot of fashion in it. So that's its working title at the minute, but we are yet to come up with a title for it.
Well, and obviously if you're going the traditional publishing route with this one versus self-pub, the title could be changed. Anything could be changed.
Anything could be changed. To me, as long as the characters stay the way they are, I'm open to changes with it.
I will say that in preparation for this, I did scroll through some agent listings and things like that. A lot of people are requesting diversity in manuscripts nowadays. So I think that's a very good sign of acceptance for the LGBT community.
Definitely. And it's something that, especially within, not only I think I'm in quite a good place because I'm interested in the LGBT community, but on the same token interested in the book community, especially UKYA, which is, young adult novels in the UK. And at the minute, we're really working hard for diverse novels to be more mainstream, I guess is the right word to say. And I feel as though I'm at a place where I feel comfortable enough with being out as the person I am, and I've discovered the type of writing I want to do. So I feel as though it's all worked out at the right time. And I've definitely, as I've become older, I've discovered that I really like. When I first started self-publishing, it was very fantasy-based. And now I feel as though, now that I'm older and I know more about myself and I've understood more about myself as a person, I'm much more interested in writing contemporary now, because I really enjoy exploring personalities and people's characteristics and their backgrounds. So I feel as though the last few years, obviously I've been growing up. I really feel as though I've grown up, if that makes sense. I feel like I've realised a lot.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense. All right. Do you have a website where people can find more information about you? How would people go about finding your information? And yes, I will post links at the end of the video.
Yeah. My blog is joshbaldwin.org. I try to post every Wednesday, but blog posts have been a bit sparse lately because I've just been really, really busy with other writing and university writing. My YouTube is youtube.com/JoshBVlogs. And Twitter, I'm always on Twitter. I kind of live on there, is at JoshB_XX.
Twitter's actually how I found you, so.
Yeah, a lot of people have found my Twitter, so I really enjoy Twitter too. I've connected with a lot of people on Twitter, and I feel it's also a really nice way of, I feel you can make a change with Twitter. I feel like you can have your idle chit chat, but I feel as though even from every Friday, in the UKYA world, we have a chat every Friday, and we usually get it trending. This year in January, I took part in a UKYA day, which I think with the impressions, we reached 1.7 million people.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and for an hour of that day, I hosted the LGBT hour, and just the amount of people, and it was all done through Twitter, and I feel like the amount of people you can reach through Twitter is something that I think it's something that's really powerful. And I feel it's quite easy to say, oh yeah, people spend a lot of time on Twitter, they waste a lot of time. But the things you can do with it and the people can reach, yeah, I feel as though Twitter is changing.
Well, obviously I am on Twitter at Jesse's POV, and I'd like to thank you very much for being a guest. It was awesome having you.
I've really enjoyed it. The time's flown by.
Yeah, it seems like we just started.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me.
You're quite welcome.
And good luck with the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Josh, for being my awesome guest today. All right. This is Jesse. If you have an opposing POV or some other topic you'd like to discuss, reach out. I am very supportive of the First Amendment, even if you don't live in this country. I will probably agree to have you on. You have to be coherent, and I don't allow name calling. Anybody's welcome. You can reach me by going to jessespov.com. You can catch me on Twitter at jessespov. You can also shoot me an email at jessespov@k98talk.org. All right. I will say, if you're really out there in left field, like proposing we blow up the planet because all mankind is evil, we're probably going to disagree significantly. And I'll probably just give you a short segment, but I will let you speak your mind. I probably won't agree with that, but you never know, you might convince me. All right. Remember, end every day on a good note. Take care, and I'm out of here.
Alright folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
The wrong way.